Please subscribe, like, and share.
So at the International Trade Center, we realized that women were doing a lot of trade, but will get little benefit out of it. And especially in particular in exports. We realized only 1 in 5 of exporters were women. And so we decided with Shetrades in the Commonwealth to increase opportunities for women to export globally. So what we do is we offer them training and coaching, as well as business generating activities. So we take them along to trade shows with us so that they can meet international buyers. We also have them be coached on the way they do their packaging or their marketing. Also finding international buyers or markets. How do you access this market? And what we've done today is an event aimed at corporations, so bigger companies, so that they can involve women-owned entrepreneurs within their supply chain. And so what we mean by supply chain is when you do procurement, you always need procurement, and you don't think of maybe using a woman-owned company at first, but we have a lot of these members who work with us, and we want to connect them with the bigger corporations so that there's more opportunities and value added. Shetrades is implemented by the International Trade Center, who has been a UN agency that's been over 50 years in the market, and it's been training a lot of SMEs in developing countries and least developed countries in improving their ecosystems. So what we do is a lot of even designing business plans, accessing data in terms of how do you find your buyers, and just a lot of support for SMEs. So we realize we've been supporting SMEs, but not specifically women. So it's been only 2 years now that we've targeted women amongst our SMEs to support them, give them the online training, face-to-face training, and coaching needs that can get them to be more competitive. So the corporations we're meeting today, we definitely want to have a longer-term relationship with them, because our project has been extended for another year. So we don't know what will happen after 2021, but we want the corporations here to know that they can find strong supply chains with the women here, and we can go and we know that they still have the business relationship when we're away. So that's what we're trying to build, just the sustainability. And we know that if we're not in the picture, the bigger corporations will still know how to find our women and do business with them, and the women will also still be able to export without us. One of our biggest local partners is the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, because that's also their mandate to get Ghanaian brands outside of Ghana and show made in Ghana to so many countries. So we work very closely with them, and that's why we also wanted to work with corporations who have also global influence, so that our women keep being pulled to the top and can do work globally. To be competitive, you need to have an attractive package, even the languages. If you only have English but you want to go to Europe, make sure that if you're selling to France, it has a French name under it. So these are small things. We have our women sensitized in our different workshops, and we have them compare with the brands they aspire to become. We tell them, okay, you want to work with L'Oreal? Have you seen how L'Oreal products are looking like? Now, these are the steps we can take you to improve that.
Do is basically support SMEs all around the world to be more competitive for exports, or for trade in general. We are working in a program that is called Women and Trade, with the initiative Shetrades initiative. And then what we are doing in Ghana is helping women under the Commonwealth project that is funded by DFID in the UK government to improve their competitiveness in different sectors. What we are doing in this specific case is working with the private sector, big corporations and multinational corporations, to bring the awareness of the need of being inclusive and sustainable along the value chain, especially in the upper side of the value chain, meaning suppliers and suppliers of suppliers, second-tier suppliers. And then what we want is that these big corporations take the responsibility to develop women-owned companies to supply to them. ITC has been helping women in many projects in Africa, but in this specific project, we already implement some surveys of impact, and many women are connecting to international buyers, selling, increasing their sales and the exports, but at the same time, they are improving their performances in terms of productivity, and even some women are reporting that they hire more women or they increase the salaries of their women employees. So indeed, the impact is visible and is very positive.
Okay. Can you elaborate further on that? On what grounds are you saying that?
Yeah, actually, there are studies, and we have studies in ATC. World Bank has as well studies that, according to the full number of companies and the full employees all around the world, the registered employees around the world, 70% of the employment or those employees belong to SMEs, the small and medium enterprises, and micro as well in the whole world. So the impact in when an SME behave well in terms of employment is huge, since the percentage is very high in these companies. That's our goal with these kind of trainings, to bring the awareness to those companies, being big or small companies, that they need to develop their communities. They create an impact, positive or negative, in their communities, and they need to be aware of that and improve the positive impact in the communities, and reduce, of course, the negative impact on the companies, plus the people who belong to the community, to request and be responsible for that behavior, returning to the community the good things that the company as it is getting from the markets.
Can you give us a general
I think it's measuring the impact of their operations in those communities, and after that, design measurements to revert those profits or benefits that they are getting from the trade to those communities in general.
I think it's about time that we started to really take into consideration that SMEs are a big part of, the economy growing. Shetrades and Differed are doing a really great thing in terms of trying to kind of bring these things to the fore for people to understand, but also embedding within them that, and this is why one of the reasons I really like this platform in terms of what they're doing anyway, is to get them to understand that it's not just about the big corporates who have to pull together these social impacts and everything else, but it has to start from the SMEs, because all the SMEs are growing to a certain level to become a big corporate organization. So platforms like this, workshops like this, really kind of help embed to say you are part of how the economy is going to grow in the next 10, 15, 20 years time. So start to understand what your impact is, and having these kind of workshop really kind of helps you decide actually what I'm doing in my business, how is that impacting somebody? Because let's be honest, when you work in a climate such as ours in West Africa or across Africa, this is not the first thing you'll think about, because we have other issues that are bothering us. And so this is really great to actually help to say it should be part of your impact. Impact shouldn't just be a case of how many people are going to school, how many people are getting money, or how many people are being rich and all that kind of stuff. But it's the social impact, it's the economic impact, it's the environmental impact. It's going to affect all of us if we don't take heed of what they are, understand what it is, and also how do we develop it, implement it, and also track it. So this really kind of brings that message to the fore for every single SME out there looking to build their business to corporate level. I mean, we had a gentleman in there from Nestle, and Nestle is a big corporation, and we know that from what they've been doing over the last few years, they've been trying to create and build according to the SGD kind of like platform and messaging. But even them, they still have a long way to go. So we need to start from the grassroots with the SMEs to say, look, in order to get to the level of understanding what it is that you do that impacts not just your generation or for generations to come, you need to understand how it works, how you're implementing it, and how you're able to track and make sure that you're actually going according to the SGD program or profile that we're trying to achieve for the economy. There are definitely elements that Shetrades are doing that I really appreciate in terms of trying to educate these women, to give them the stumbling blocks that they need to grow their businesses. But also at the same time, I think Shetrades is a big organization that's in Europe, and maybe they don't necessarily understand in terms of on the ground what is happening. And that's what I like, the fact that they have affiliates on the ground in Ghana that know the struggles of your Makola woman, that know the struggles of the woman selling cloth or whatever it is, and they understand that it's a different kind of mindset that needs to be shifted in order for them to see that they're able to actually start doing business on a much bigger scale, or understand some of the issues that they might face in terms of running a business. So they're definitely adding to that quota of helping these women grow. It's literally to just say, if you're starting out and there are some practical things that maybe you don't necessarily understand, because not everybody that understands running a business sets up a business. Majority of people that maybe Shetrades targets are people that have a necessity or understand that they've got something within them that they want to be able to be doing. If it's doing shea butter, if it's sewing or whatever else. What Shetrade does for you is actually help you put practical things into place to say, you're setting up your business, you need to understand the full 360 of how a business should be run. Do you know how accounting works on a basic level? Do you know about what we're discussing today, sustainability, on a basic level? So all the elements that you need to set up your own business and be sustainable, so that you're not always borrowing money or always kind of like your cash flow is terrible. Shetrades is there to help you, guide you through this process and educate you at the same time.
This particular workshop, especially the mode of delivery and the experience level of the facilitator, actually is something that goes a step further to actually equipping us already in the fields, because from my company we are already implementing sustainability activities, but these with the expertise of Shetrades and with the expertise of the facilitator is something that is going to further strengthen the activities and the actions that we do in the field, working with smallholder farmers, working with suppliers, and how to develop a sustainable supply chain for our businesses. Yes, for sure. Looking at these 3 days engagement that we've had, a kind of detailed and enlightened discussions, the impact of this particular workshop, I will definitely recommend Shetrades to further organizations, other organizations.